So today, I want to talk about Blue Georgia. As of this moment at 2:26 a.m. Eastern Time, the moment I am recording this, it looks remarkably likely that the Democrats will take both Senate seats in this election and runoff in Georgia. I'm a little bit tired, so please bear with me if I'm not at my full capacity with this. But right now, Warnock has been declared the winner by the Associated Press. Ossoff is in the lead, and everything is pointing in the direction of victory. At the current moment, Warnock is ahead by almost 50,000 votes, and again has been declared winner. Ossoff is ahead by approximately 9,000 votes, and all of the remaining votes that are available, the 79,000 votes that have not been tallied, the good majority of them are mail-in or early votes, which again are very likely to go to Ossoff and Warnock because of the nature of the fact that the Democrats tend to take the pandemic seriously and tend to be the people who vote in by mail and vote in early. And to add to that, most of the votes remaining are from Atlantic County and some of the surrounding areas. Very blue areas that are very likely to vote Democrat. So, given that it looks like the Democrats are going to take both seats, I want to talk about what this means for the legislative branch of the US government right now. And then I want to talk about what the response by the Republicans in the Trump administration are probably going to be. And I want to conclude by talking about what our strategy should be as leftists moving forward and what we should be pushing for and calling for and demanding from the Democrats. So, first and foremost, what this means is that the Senate will end up going blue. The Senate will now have 50 Democrats, or including the independents that are caucusing Democrat, and 50 Republicans. Kamala Harris will be the tiebreaker and will probably put in Chuck Schumer to be Senate Majority Leader. McConnell will be removed from power and will become Senate Minority Leader. So all of the things that McConnell's been doing to block votes, to block stimulus, to block everything else is going to be pushed to the side, and we are going to be set in a position for the Democrats to be able to pass whatever they want. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the presidency. They have the executive and legislative branches. The only thing that the Republicans still maintain a large sway over is the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court is, again, more limited than the other two branches at doing anything because of the nature of the way that it functions. So basically, the Democrats control the government right now. This hasn't happened since Obama. This could potentially be really big if they are pushed properly. The problem, of course, is that over the next 2 weeks, what I suspect is going to happen is that Trump is going to continue his rants about voter fraud and is going to claim that this election is rigged and all the things that we've heard before. This is going to be contested and sent to court case after court case after court case. And hopefully, if all goes well, we should be settled on the reality of the situation by the end of January, with Biden as president, with the Senate being, as I just described it, where Senate Majority Leader would belong to the Democratic Party. After all of the nonsense that we're going to deal with from Trump and his fascist cronies. So now that we're looking at a Democrat-controlled situation, what is our goal as leftists in this particular environment? Well, one is to push back against neoliberalism. Fascism is no longer the major threat. Neoliberalism is again. We start to look at this situation not as the Democrats as allies against fascism, but as, well, honestly, the enemies that they've always been. As an anarchist, I still don't think we're quite at the place to push all the way left and to start shifting in the direction of, revolution and great change and all that. But where we are is in a place to push the Democratic Party to actually start implementing some of the things that the progressives within the party have been talking about. So I want to start seeing things happen like, I don't know. The first thing I'd really like to see, honestly, is us to get actual stimulus checks. I'd love to see a $2,000 check right off the bat. Start pushing for things that are going to delay people getting evicted from their homes. Start pushing for things that are going to start reducing or, the debt that's been caused and accumulated from rent. I want to see things like more consistent survival checks, things that are going to push towards unionization, living wage, maybe a federal $15 minimum wage, some form of guaranteed health care if we can't get Medicare for all right now because too many of the Democrats are not in that place. Let's start taking names and let's start primarying them over the next few years while the power is in the more left perspective. You want to, at the very least, get some sort of reform to Obamacare, which would allow for people to actually get proper health care and be insured and covered in a widespread fashion. You're going to want to see expansions of voting rights. You're going to want to see immigration reform, climate action, environmental justice, improvements to education, and backtracking all of the things that DeVos did as, Secretary of Secretary of Education. You're going to want this housing crisis to be handled, universal health care straight across the board, retraction of war on drugs policies, better education programs, better infrastructure. One of the things that Schumer promised and we need to start seeing pushed for is Puerto Rico passed their referendum for statehood. You better start seeing a push towards Puerto Rico and DC entering into statehood in the next 2 years. You have to see these things start to happen. We cannot allow the Democrats to go back into the Obama era policy of bipartisanship and being so friendly and nice to the Republican Party. The Republican Party has done nothing but treat the Democrats poorly. They have treated leftists poorly. We need to start pushing the Democrats in our direction. Start holding them accountable. They are the furthest right power source right now. This is when we push. This is when we fight back. This is when we start making demands on the party. And when they don't account to it, start checking those votes. See who's still against us. And those are the people we primary. Those are the people we take off. Those are the people that we change in 2 years. And try to maintain this power structure and dynamic. Start aiming for more progressive candidates. Find ways to start pushing this country in the direction that we need it to. And push against the neoliberal policies. Pelosi's still there, but she's the enemy now. She is the person that we need to be targeting and focusing on. The Republicans don't have the strength and power. The furthest right enemy is the establishment Democrats right now. And that isn't to say that we push for, it to such an extent that we lose our ability and that we lose our focus and we lose our respectability in all this. But we push for it through direct action, through demanding some sort of system, through protests. Definitely we need coronavirus relief efforts. And we need all of this to come together. This is the moment where the squad, if they're going to shine, needs to start shining. If we're going to get these progressive reforms through, this is when it needs to happen. And if it doesn't, get out there and make it happen. We still have to continue mutual aid practices. We still have to continue looking out for each other. We still need to get out there and protest because, people like the Proud Boys are still going to come out in support of Trump. Trump hasn't gone away. That's still going to be there. the people who represent that are still going to be there. But the political power right now is in the hands of the establishment Democrats. And it's time to hold them accountable and start shifting them left. With that said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and bell for notifications. You can follow me on Twitter and check out my Discord in the description down below. My name is Anarchist Tara. I hope that in my tiredness for this video, I was still able to give you some decent and good content on what we should be looking forward to over the next 2 years at least, while we do have this power position and while we can take to the offense. Thank you again for watching. And I hope you have a great day knowing that we have Blue Georgia under our belt.